Uganda National Congress, first political party in Uganda. Uganda National Congress was established in March 1952 and was involved in the struggle for independence in Africa. 6 men founded the party. Uganda People's Congress came after 1958, followed by the Democratic Party in 1960, and thereafter the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 political party, the King Alone movement, emerged by the end of 1961. The movement was then officially endorsed by the Kabaka's government. A lot of us think that the turmoil, the confusion, the division that engulfed Uganda since independence started with Dr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Milton Obote and Kabaka. That is not true. The division among tribes, among Ugandans, started long back, even before we became protectorate. The fact that the Kabaka of Buganda didn't trust members of Uganda National Congress. They didn't trust other political parties that came later, like the Democratic Party. The Kabaka decided to form a political party, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, to fight the Democratic Party members because he didn't trust them. We got swallowed up in spider's web. And today, the same confusion brought us to a position whereby Ugandans are once again swallowed up in a leopard harness. The fact is, no one should get that illusion that the confusion we have today started with Obote and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏. All these people who created the party that fought for liberation of Africa, like Uganda National Congress, Uganda People's Congress, Democratic Party, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, Kings Alone. We learned from the colonial masters that the best strategy to stay in power is to divide and rule. The fact is, even before the protectorate came into being, a lot of different tribes in Uganda were using that policy of divide and rule. If they don't like you within a tribe, they'll label you up and you cannot move further. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss your daily source of information on Uganda. Let me be clear, and let's get started. Uganda National Congress is the first political party in Uganda. Was established in 1952 by 𝗏𝗏𝙗𝙄𝗏 as the president, Abubakar Mayanza as the party secretary general, and Apollo Kironde as the legal advisor. The founding fathers of Uganda National Congress are Ignatius Musasi Buganda, Abubakar Mayanza Buganda, Stephanie Ovangor Bugiso, Ben Okwelede Teso, Yekosofid Engur Lango, and Karembo from Toro. Their headquarters was located at Lubiri, at Mengo. The party, the first Uganda political party, did help a lot to fight the war to liberation Uganda. The party was involved in struggle for independence in Africa. 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 represented Uganda National Congress and coordinated the struggle for independence. Abu Mayanza and John Kale established a Uganda National Congress office in Cairo in order to link up with contact all over the world to help assist freedom fighters in Africa. They laid down a process of a long walk to freedom. And today, we are still following their footsteps. The long walk to freedom has so far not delivered the result that you and me, that all Ugandans expected to achieve. We are locked up in a confused mindset that seems not to be ending anytime sooner in Africa. They set the foundation for the liberation of Africa, the liberation of Uganda. And since then, we had been tearing that platform every time we disagree with ourselves. We are tearing up that foundation by greedy dictators who have no respect for the rule of law. We all know that the Secretary General of Uganda National Congress at that time used his close relationship with Chinese leaders, Mao Zedong, and Prime Minister 𝗏𝗏 and 𝗏𝗏, and secured support for Africa freedom fighters. The Uganda National Congress received £500,000 from China, as well as modern printing press from Italy. The printing press was installed in the offices of two Ugandan newspapers, the Ugandan Post and Ugandan Express, which was based in Kololo in Kampala. In 1960, there was a split in the Uganda National Congress Party. 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏 fraction and that of Dr. Apollo Milton Obote fraction, Uganda People's Congress, emerged after the 1958 election. 7 members of the Uganda Legislative Council, which was in Parliament at that time of the colonial period, Uganda People's Union and the Uganda National Council was a pillar in the struggle for Uganda independence. In 1940s, Uganda staged various demonstrations against the colonial rule, largely objecting the economic exploitation the colonial government at that time, at that moment, manipulated the price of cash crops. That never gave Ugandans the benefit they deserve from the cash crop. If you look back and you begin to analysis, to take into consideration the role of the colonial masters at that time, then you'll understand that their interest was pure economic, not the interests of the people of Uganda. As a result, Uganda First political party, Uganda National Congress, was then established in 1952. The party in itself was a farmers' party founded by Ignatius Musazi, the great son of Uganda. The party was first based at Kabaka's Lake, Mengo, in the house of 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏, before moving to Katwe and later Kololo in the late 1950s. The struggle for independence started moving faster with the formation of many political parties. 𝗨𝗴𝗃𝗏𝗃, the first, executive president of Uganda, who was also a monarch, he found it very difficult to take orders from national government. Some of us understood the situation he was in. In 1964, a referendum to decide whether the two counties, which Buganda and Net, should be returned to the territory of Bunyoro. But Mutesa refused to sign the transfer instrument, thereby creating a crisis within the government. As I said before, we Ugandans may agree to disagree, but the truth will always lead us back to where it all started. Uganda National Congress laid down the foundation for a long walk to freedom. We managed to get our independence, but that in itself was not enough to end a long walk to freedom. The struggle they started is continuing till today. We had dictators after dictators. The dreams they had about Uganda, that we should be living in a better Uganda, didn't meet the benchmark they laid down when they started a long walk to independence. Today, we still have people being kidnapped, people being tortured, journalists being threatened, Ugandan being tear gas, Ugandan being murdered in cold blood. And that tells us a lot. It tells us that the division we have in Uganda today, as I said before already, did not start with Dr. Apollo Milton Obote or the Kabaka of Uganda. The colonial masters pumped that idea of divide and rule right from the beginning. And our mindset became locked up in the game of truth and lie. They place a lot of projects. Some people call it the 𝗏𝗏𝙁𝙗𝙗 project. Some people call it the Asian project. Which divided Uganda right from the colonial time. That is when some of those African countries were being ruled by an East African company. And then if you decide, if you go back and ask yourself, if we were a protectorate, why did those colonial masters decide that this country should be ruled by an East African company? That was pure. A company is there to make profit, to earn money. So the intention itself is questionable up to today. What was the East African company doing in East Africa? Was it a personal business or a government business, or both? A combination of a private business serving the interests of a government somewhere. So if we go back and we ask ourselves, we say, did we really get this situation right from the beginning? That's why I keep on saying that we made a lot of mistakes, and our leaders made a lot of mistakes. And this corrupt mindset that we have today is interlinked to our educational system, our tax system, the company that ruled East Africa, it's an East African company, and we are still peddling on the same bicycle that destroyed the foundation of a long walk to freedom. We can decide to give up now, but we have not yet reached our destination. If you don't finish what you started, someone else, some days, will pick up from where we left and finish the marathon. We are grateful to you, Uganda National Congress, for all your contribution. And we will continue the struggle of a long walk to freedom. Thank you. And remember, I will be back.